Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. How to deal with depression when things aren't going your way. Alex had always been a planner. They had a list for everything, a roadmap for their life. But one day, it all unraveled. The promotion they worked so hard for went to someone else. A relationship they thought was solid crumbled overnight, and the weight of it all pressed down on them like a heavy fog. Sitting by the window, Alex stared out at the rain. The plans they had made felt like shattered glass, sharp and useless. Why is this happening? Alex whispered to the empty room. Chapter 2. A Moment of Stillness. For days, Alex did nothing but sit in that fog of disappointment. Then one morning, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic, just a small thought, like a whisper in their mind. What if I stopped fighting this? So Alex closed their eyes, touched their heart, and took a deep breath. For the first time in weeks, they allowed themselves to feel the sadness without judgment. It's okay, Alex said softly. It's okay to feel lost right now. Chapter 3. Finding a New Perspective. Later that day, Alex picked up a notebook. They wrote 2 columns. What I can control and what I cannot control. Under the first, they listed my attitude, my effort, how I treat myself. Under the second, they wrote other people's choices, the past, the outcome. Looking at the list, Alex felt a tiny spark of clarity. I've been spending so much energy on what I can't change, they thought. Maybe it's time to focus on what I can. Chapter 4. Small Joys, Big Impact. That afternoon, Alex stepped outside. The rain had stopped, and the air smelled fresh, like a promise of something new. Walking through the neighborhood, they noticed things they hadn't paid attention to in weeks. The laughter of children playing, the warmth of the sun breaking through the clouds, the simple beauty of a blooming flower. For the first time in a long time, Alex felt a flicker of peace. Chapter 5. Letting Go. Returning home, Alex looked at the cluttered desk covered in old plans. They picked up a sheet titled 5-Year Goals and stared at it for a moment before tearing it in half. These plans aren't me, Alex realized. They were just ideas. I'm still here, even without them. With each piece of paper tossed into the trash, Alex felt a little lighter, as if they were shedding an invisible weight. Chapter 6. The Power of Connection. That evening, Alex called their best friend, someone they hadn't spoken to in weeks. I don't know where to start, Alex admitted. Everything feels so messy right now. Their friend listened quietly, then said, You don't have to figure it all out today. Just take one step. I'm here for you. Hearing those words reminded Alex they didn't have to carry the burden alone. Chapter 7. Moving Forward. The next morning, Alex woke up with a sense of quiet determination. They laced up their sneakers and went for a short jog. It wasn't much, but it was enough to feel like progress. Later, Alex sat down and wrote a new to-do list. Not a 5-year plan, but a list of simple, meaningful tasks. Call mom. Clean the kitchen. Write one paragraph of the project I care about. Each small action felt like a brick, rebuilding something stronger than before. Chapter 8. Trusting the Detour. Weeks later, Alex stood by the same window, watching the sunset. Life still wasn't perfect, and many questions remained unanswered. But Alex no longer felt lost. Instead, they felt like someone who had found a new path, not the one they had planned, but just as meaningful. Plans change, Alex thought, but I can still move forward. Final words. Alex's story isn't unique. It's a reminder that when life doesn't go your way, it's not the end. It's just the start of a new chapter. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix everything right now. All you need is the courage to take one step at a time and trust that the journey is still worth it. Text on screen. The detour is part of the journey. Does this story resonate with you? Let me know if you like any changes or additions. Chapter 9. The Unexpected Teacher. As the days turned into weeks, Alex started noticing something unexpected. The very challenges that had seemed like the end of the world began to feel like teachers, demanding and unwelcome. Yes, but teachers nonetheless. One evening, while journaling, Alex wrote, "Losing the promotion taught me humility and how to reassess what I really want from my career. The breakup showed me I wasn't as honest with myself as I thought. Now, I'm learning to listen to my own needs first. This whole experience is teaching me patience with life and with myself." For the first time, Alex didn't feel like a victim of circumstance. Instead, they began to see the struggles as part of a larger process of growth. Chapter 10. Building Resilience. One morning, Alex faced another setback, a rejection email for a job they thought was perfect for them. The old Alex might have spiraled into despair, replaying the disappointment on an endless loop. But this time, Alex paused. "What can I learn from this?" they asked. Instead of shutting down, Alex got to work. They rewrote their resume, researched new opportunities, and even reached out to a mentor for advice. That night, Alex went to bed feeling not defeated, but proud. They hadn't fixed everything, but they had taken steps forward. Chapter 11. Reclaiming Joy. One weekend, Alex decided to do something completely out of character. They signed up for a pottery class. It wasn't part of any grand plan, it just sounded fun. As their hands shaped the wet clay, Alex felt something they hadn't felt in months: joy. It wasn't the kind of joy that came from achieving a goal or checking off a box. It was simple, immediate, and free from expectations. This, Alex thought, is what I've been missing. Doing something just because it makes me happy. The pottery class became a weekly ritual, and with it came a realization. Joy doesn't have to wait until everything is perfect. It can exist even in the messiest moments. Chapter 12. Helping Others. One afternoon, Alex ran into an old friend at a coffee shop. The friend looked frazzled and overwhelmed. "I feel like my life is falling apart," the friend confessed. Alex listened carefully, then shared some of their own stories. Not the polished, "everything's fine now" version, but the raw, honest truth of how hard it had been and how they were still figuring things out. By the end of the conversation, the friend smiled. "Thank you," they said. "I needed to hear that." Walking home, Alex realized that their struggles weren't just about them. By sharing what they had learned, they could help others who felt the same way. Chapter 13. A New Chapter. Months later, Alex stood at a crossroads, literally and figuratively. They were hiking on a trail they had never explored before, and the path split into two directions. The old Alex would have agonized over the choice, worrying about which path was better. But now, Alex smiled and thought, "It doesn't matter which one I choose. I'll make the best of wherever I go." With that, they took a step forward, not knowing exactly where the path would lead, but trusting that they had everything they needed to navigate it. Life still threw Alex curveballs, as life does. But something had shifted. They no longer saw plans as rigid maps that had to be followed at all costs. Instead, they saw them as flexible guides, open to change and adaptation. And when things didn't go their way, Alex didn't see it as the end of the road. They saw it as a chance to grow, to learn, and to keep moving forward one step at a time. When the way becomes unclear, trust yourself to find your own path. If you haven't followed me, then you should do so, or you will never see me again.